Let's look at a kidney, and we'll look at the basic structures, but also the blood vessels as well. In a previous video, we gave a general overview and talked about the ultimate goal is to eliminate excess salts in water, but there's a lot of balance there to determine what are we going to keep for water, for salts, things like calcium, potassium. How do we balance the pH with hydrogen and ammonia that's created as we process all the way? So we're filtering, but there's a quality control system. Remember, we can receive about 25% of all of our blood from the kidneys in that urinary system all at once, and we're constantly filtering up to about 40 ounces a minute. So it's a constant process. A lot of it's based on pressure and hormones as we balance what's going to come through the kidney. On the right here, we're describing the actual blood flow. As we get on the left, we're looking at once we get to the ultimate structure, the functional unit, which is the nephron, we start that filtration process. I describe it as two flows. The blood flow, bringing that in, filter it, bring it back out, and then it becomes brought back to the cardiovascular system. Then the filtrate that's still left over in our nephron and then continues through the kidney, ultimately to reach the ureter, to the urinary bladder. That's our urine and our waste. Sometimes it's difficult to grasp this, but there's two flows. Bring in the blood, bring it out. But then we filtered it. What we're left with is filtering through the kidney, that quality control through what we call the nephron, that renal corpuscle, and then the renal tubule to figure out what we want to keep and what we don't want to keep to maintain that homeostasis through your body. Let's look at the blood flow first, because our goal is to get to a nephron. On the right side here, we bring our blood down from the aorta. We get through the thoracic aorta, we go down to the abdominal aorta, and then we're entering into the renal artery. Next to it is the renal vein. They're mimicking each other to come out. When I come in, renal artery, as soon as it splits, new name. It's the same vessel, we just give it a new name as it changes. As I come up the side, this is called the segmental artery. There is no segmental vein, so this is the only instance to where they don't mimic each other, artery and vein. The segmental artery comes up, and then it'll go through what we call renal columns, and renal columns allow for that blood flow to go up here. We call that the interlobar artery. The blue one is the vein, interlobar arteries going up, the veins bringing it back. We go along the sides of these structures here that we call renal pyramid. As I go along that column, interlobar artery, then I come up over the top and it arcs. And when I say over the top of this renal pyramid. So it's arcing, we call that arcuate, artery and vein. The red is the artery, the blue is the vein. So arcuate. And then I come up into the region, the cortex, and the cortex, and then I have these stalks, and the red ones are the arteries, again, the veins and the blue. These are called interlobular or cortical radiate, or radial. Cortical radiate or interlobular, you may see either term. Let's go through that, because our goal is to get to the nephron. We go through renal artery, segmental artery. I come up along the side of my renal pyramid, which is my interlobar artery, over the top of the pyramid, arcuate, and then the stalks that come up are my interlobular artery. Now I finally hit where I'm going to go through arterioles to get into the nephron. I got into the nephron, I start to filter out, and then what I filtered, the blood's going to come back through my interlobular vein, my arcuate vein, and then down through my interlobar vein, ultimately reaching my renal vein that'll hit my inferior vena cava, and I'm back into the cardiovascular system. The first part is just understanding the blood flow through the kidney. We get to the point where we hit the nephron. Our nephron will break down in another picture to make this more amplified, but the nephron is primarily located into the cortex with some of the renal tubule extending into the medulla. Let's look at the basic structures of a kidney. First, the outside of it is the capsule, so the renal capsule. And then I get into two regions, that outer cortex, and then the inner medulla. Two regions, the medulla and the cortex. This is the area, and I refer to them as regions. And within the regions, I have all these structures. Within those regions of the medulla, remember I said to me they look like little flower petals. These are the renal pyramids, renal pyramids. And then I get into the cortex, and within the cortex is I start to see the start of the nephron. Specifically, we'll look at a renal corpuscle and then the rest of the renal tubule that'll extend down. We have two types of nephrons that we'll get into, a cortical and a juxtaglomerular. As we look at this, we see these regions. I have the pyramids. In between them, I have columns. And columns, I think, are just like stalks of that tissue to allow for the blood flow. Columns are in between the pyramids. And then when I start to think about the filtration process, I'm going to go through all of these nephrons, and the nephrons are going to extend to these tubules, which are going to come down. If I follow this, is going to be called a collecting duct. That green duct there, the collecting duct, is going to hit a larger funnel called a minor calyx. A minor calyx, in plural, minor calyxes. These minor calyxes are coming off the renal pyramids. Those tubes come down, they hit a minor calyx, and the minor calyxes will become a major calyx. It's getting larger as it funnels out. A minor becomes a major calyx, and then the major turns into what we call the renal pelvis as we leave the outside of the kidney, which is at the hilus. The renal pelvis then becomes the ureter, which will go down to the urinary bladder. What we're looking at is how do we get that blood flow up, and then the overall structures of the kidney is to get into the cortex where we have the nephron. Let's take a look at the nephron itself. As we look at this picture here, we're taking that piece where we're identifying the medulla and the cortex, and I go over to this picture. This is the outside of the kidney, the capsule. As I come down, I have my cortex where I start the part of the nephron, and then I have the inner medulla. When I look at the actual nephron, it's two pieces, and I break it down further. A renal corpuscle plus then the renal tubule. A renal corpuscle includes, and I labeled this as glomerulus, but inside is the glomerulus. The whole thing is called a renal corpuscle, but there's a knot of capillaries inside called a glomerulus. Glomerulus is referring to, looks like a ball of yarn, but it's a network of capillaries. Remember, capillaries are very thin vessels, and they're porous to allow me to move stuff back and forth because we're filtering out that blood, which is mostly that water that's containing all the solutes, to determine what we want to keep and what we want to turn into waste. As I look at this and I expand on this box, what we're identifying is that I get into looking at all these renal corpuscles, and that our goal is to start the filtration process here. I go in the renal corpuscle, and then I start to leave the renal tubule. I said the renal corpuscle contains that glomerulus, and we're going to start to filter there. What is filtered out will become part of that blood flow to reach ultimately back to the renal vein. That renal corpuscle starts then the tube that comes off of it, and this is called the proximal convoluted tubule. Proximal convoluted tubule. This is where we have majority of our reabsorption, and it's a lot of our water reabsorption, but also controlling some of our salts and sugars. And then it continues down, and it'll loop and become the loop of Henle. The loop of Henle is dropping down into this region, the medulla, and this is where we have a lot of salt gradients and controlling our salts. Remember, we said our primary functions is controlling water and salts, because what do salts do? They're impacting the pressure of our blood. The more salt intake we have, the more we got to dilute it out. So our body will keep water to dilute out the salt, but it puts more volume, more pressure on the system. And that's sometimes where you can have high blood pressure. We said as I drop down from the proximal convoluted tubule into the nephron loop, then it comes back up into the distal convoluted tubule. And distal meaning it's farthest away from the attachment point. We use the same kind of philosophy when we talk about appendages, my arms and legs. This is distal, this is proximal. No matter where I put this, my hand is farthest away. Similar to here. Convoluted means squished. Distal convoluted tubule is still all part of the tube, but farthest away. Our distal convoluted tubule is reabsorbing a lot of our calcium or hydrogen, controlling our ammonia. So we're looking at pH control because our blood relies on a pH of about 7.2, 7.3 for it to function properly. We're adjusting a lot of our potassium and our hydrogen here. Distal convoluted tubule then continues and connects to these little connecting tubules, ultimately to this big, large one called a collecting duct. This collecting duct is then going to continue out through our minor calyx, our major calyx, the renal pelvis, out through the hilus to the actual ureter. What we're focusing on is how do we adjust things back and forth. You've got a couple of structures of blood vessels here in the medulla. This is called the vasa recta. Up in the cortex, where you have these blood vessels, this is called the peritubular capillaries. Basically, we're using this to be able to move things back and forth. Are we keeping this or are we keeping this? Too much calcium, too much hydrogen, we need more water, we need less salt, whatever it may be. So it's not just filtering. It's filtering, but then deciding what we want to keep and what not to keep. Whenever you clean something out, clean out your car, you're going to pull some stuff out. I'm going to keep this, I'm going to throw this away as you clean out your car. Well, that's all we're doing is constantly cleaning the blood continuously. Our goal is to get through these nephrons. Now remember I said there's about 1 million of them, so this is not anatomically correct. There's 2 different types of nephrons that we see in the body. The shorter ones are called cortical nephrons. And remember, a nephron includes the renal corpuscle plus the entire renal tubule. And the cortical nephrons make about 85%. The other 15 extend down into the medulla, and these are called juxtamedullary nephrons. We have 2 different types. Remember, we're trying to create that waste, so we're ultimately going to urinate, and it's going to go through this collecting duct. So if I go back to that previous picture, and as I follow that tube, that's this tube here, just at a microscopic level. It's just showing you one, but as I go through that collecting duct, it hits the minor calyx. The minors converge to a major. We're going out through the renal pelvis to the ureter, which ultimately is going to reach the urinary bladder. As we look at this, we're focusing on bringing the blood in, bring it out, but then we're having that filtration process. Now, when we look inside the cortex and we examine it microscopically, we can look at this and see that the renal corpuscle has that knot of capillaries. What I've taken here is just the cortex and expanded it here in this microscope slide. When we look inside, we can see all these purple balls here. And all these purple balls are indicating a renal corpuscle. Let's break down a renal corpuscle. Remember, we're inside the region, the cortex. As I take one of these purple balls and I open it up, inside this darker structure inside is the knot of capillaries, that network that we call the glomerulus. And this is our initial filtration portion. Surrounding it is the capsule of the renal corpuscle. The outer rim of it we call the Bowman's capsule or glomerular capsule. Either term is appropriate. But the outer capsule, which is holding it all together. Then I have a space, and you can see that white space is called the capsular space. As I go through that initial filtration process, and I'm left with the first part of that filtrate, it's going to drop into that space and then continue down my renal tubule, going through proximal convoluted tubule, my loop of Henle, my distal convoluted tubule. When you're looking outside of the renal corpuscles, majority of all these round circles, you're looking inside all those convoluted tubules. And the convoluted tubules are just like you're looking inside of a hose or inside of a pipe. We've opened these up, and it depends on the cut of the slide. Remember, we're looking just in the region of the cortex, which is where you see these purple balls, which are these purple balls referring to the renal corpuscle, the first part of the nephron, that first part of the filtration process. This is the histology of it. We went through the overall blood flow, some of the basic structures to then help with that filtration process outside of the kidney, looked at a nephron, and then this is the histology of the nephron. This is a basic urinary overview.